profession, there are things that kind of get under your skin. And this is something that is starting to get to me, is the nonstop, incessant talk about coaches being fired.
Oh, yeah.
We hyperanalyze these things. I can't tell you who makes it worse, whether it's us in the media, my brethren, or is it the fans?
Oh, it's definitely the
that
fans.
just eat this stuff up, and they're the ones out there that are calling for coaches' heads. So it's the media that writes about it and talks about it.
Yeah.
But both are to blame here, and I think that we do this far too often. Sometimes in sports, and this is going to sound crazy to some, you can fix your problems without firing your coach.
No.
Sometimes.
Really? You can do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's possible. I think we've lost sight of that. People get better. You can improve the situation around the coach. You can just do what the Steelers do, which is own stability and create confidence in that.
Listen, when you have a coach in a college football setting or in a national football setting right now, it's like playing spades. You get 3 and a possible. You get 3 years and a possible year to go after that. And if you have not taken us from 0 wins to conference championship in that 3 and a possible years, then you are eternally the worst coach that's ever existed, and you must be fired. And the problem is ADs and general managers buy into this nonsense. And we've created this new society where coaches don't get any leeway whatsoever. Because you're right, it is something that can definitely be fixed. Like, there's lots of problems that you see inside organizations and inside play on the field that can be fixed without firing the coach.
And I think that we as a collective are way too obsessed with pushing someone out the door so that we can hire someone else who will be the newest source of our angst and frustration.
That's right.
That's all that happens. Use Florida State as an example. They could not wait to let Willie Taggart go.
Oh my God, yes.
Just
no reason.
Just wanted him out the door. I wouldn't say for no reason. Like, he was losing, but then you bring in someone else who's losing, and you're like, you got to get rid of him too. And Nebraska's doing this. Do you realize that it's not the coaches that are the problem? You, as in you, the program, or you, the fan base, you're the problem. Continuing to hire a new coach isn't going to solve your issues. Try and solve your issues with the coach that you have, and then when that coach can't get you over the top, then let them go.
That's right.
That's how. And I think that you and I, Stefan, are slightly more patient than the norm when it comes to just allowing these coaches to have tenure, have time, let it breathe. I don't think you and I are the type that just constantly want to push coaches out the door. But with that, I will say that the purpose of this segment is to nominate one person, because while I believe that we overanalyze these situations and we're so quick to pull the trigger on coaches, too much so, there are coaches that deserve to lose their jobs out there. And I would like to nominate one.
Yes.
We are each going to nominate one coach in college football or the NFL that we think is absolutely deserving of losing their job the most. If we could only fire, you have the power over college football and the NFL, and you get to fire one coach. Who is it? And I do have some thought
nominees?
I have some thought starters for those that might get the axe. That fans, I think, are getting tired of. So we rattle off the list, and then we'll see who we think deserves it over everybody else. And you can participate as well by texting in at 50857 on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line. Dan Mullen in all kinds of trouble in Florida right now.
Which I don't understand.
Manny Diaz, who's turned things around in the last couple of games.
Which I understand even less.
Scott Frost with Nebraska, who has an abysmal record over there in his first few years.
That one I kind of understand, but still.
My coach, Brian Flores, the Miami Dolphins.
Stop it.
Vastly underperforming. Urban Meyer, for all of the obvious reasons. Joe Judge with the New York Giants.
Yes.
Mike Zimmer with the Minnesota Vikings. Matt Nagy with the Bears. And I'll just throw Vic Fangio with the Broncos in there too.
All right.
But I think that and there are other names out there. But that to me is the there's some thought starters, some ideas of the guys that I already named one of them for me, who I will be nominating.
One of my guys is going to be Joe Judge. Like I look at what he's done since he's been with the Giants, and I know he hasn't been there long, but I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think you can fix those kind of problems that he has. I watch things, he's got just simple coaching things, bad clock management, bad play calling, bad association with his players. Like I'm watching over and over again these games where he and his team have opportunities where they could turn the corner, maybe not necessarily win the game, but they can turn the corner in the game to build some momentum. And it's him that does something to stifle that turn. It's him that does something. It's a play that gets called. It's a player that gets put on the sideline that gets benched. It's a timeout that gets called, something like that, or a lack of calling a timeout to preserve time, things like that. And I'm just watching him over and over again, and I just really don't think he's a very good coach.
So mine's in the NFL too, and I will be nominating Brian Flores.
No, why would you do that?
Who should get the axe?
I need to hear this. How can you nominate your guy?
It's all about expectation.
All right, let me hear your argument.
There are two reasons why you should fire coaches way before the window of opportunity that you and I like to give coaches.
Yes.
College or NFL, you should get a few years. You should get, we'll just put an arbitrary number on it, 5 years to build up your franchise, to build up your staff, to build up the right roster, whether you're doing it in college or the NFL. But once you hit a certain level, and one of the reasons is just embarrassing your organization. So Urban Meyer sort of gets on the hot seat for that reason. Not coaching at all. It's what you do outside of coaching that can get you fired. But as far as getting you fired before your window of opportunity is closed is getting to the point where there are real expectations and then completely bottoming out. When they've dealt with some injuries in Miami, but injuries are not their problem. This is not a well-coached team. The team wasn't put together well, so I think the GM should go too. Nobody is living up to expectation, and somebody has to be held accountable. They were supposed to be in the playoffs, and they have one win and a loss against the Jaguars. That's the kind of stuff that gets you fired.
That's what sticks with you
so
right
that
there.
right there,
that
Brian
loss
Flores
against the Jaguars, that
has to go.
For Brian Flores, I'm willing to give him the grace of this season. I watched what he went through this season. I watched how he's tried to tackle what he went through. And I agree with you. I don't think this team was put together very well. So I'm okay if you decide to make a change at the GM position. And then, of course, your GM is going to want to pick his own coach.
Right.
But I really do believe that Brian Flores, based on what I saw him do in previous years, technically with less, I understand that this year might be an anomaly and not necessarily something that is reputable to what he's actually doing as a coach.
I'm getting the feeling that last year was the anomaly.
Yeah, I know you are.
Him being a good coach and making a lot out of a little. And we've seen Dolphin coaches do this in the past. So
two people that absolutely should not be on the hot seat. That's Dan Mullen and Manny Diaz. And I just do not understand.
I don't think any of the coaches in the state and at the college level.
I don't understand their fan bases. I don't understand the media that have jumped on board. Neither of these coaches or none of these coaches have had the true opportunity to allow their programs to flourish in a way that reflects their recruiting, their transfer portal ability, their hiring ability, everything that they can do, and play calling and on the field play. Like, you haven't